Hey, what's up, everybody? Cecil Lammey here with the Audible, flying solo today. Sigmund Bloom is on assignment, and I've got so much to say and so little time. It's why you stay tuned to the show and all of our social channels at footballguys.com. We begin with the New York Jets signing Dalvin Cook to be their lead running back, or at least to get most of the work until Breece Hall is ready to go. Of course, this had been projected for some time. The Jets have been flirting with the idea of adding a Dalvin Cook. And listen, I don't have a lot good to say about Nathaniel Hackett, but I do know this. He knows the importance of the rushing attack and how important it is to set things up for Aaron Rodgers, for Garrett Wilson, for that Jets passing game, which could be robust. And it's the reason why they make the move, because Hall coming back from his ACL injury. And listen, every recovery is different. I know I'm getting questions about Javonte Williams. Is he really going to be ready for week one? Yeah, he is. But the insider news that I'm going to provide you in today's program has to do with several teams, not just the Denver Broncos. And, well, this Cook thing's been there for a while. I've talked about it for a long while. And he was going to the AFC East. He was either going to the Miami Dolphins or he's going to the New York Jets. The Jets to look at their running back situation and go, okay, this gives us insurance. Hall is a great back, flashed as a rookie. If he takes time in his recovery, and then of course Dalvin Cook is just there to do it all as a runner, as a receiver out of the backfield. And we've seen Aaron Rodgers work with two backs before. When Hall is fully healthy, this will be Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon all over again. So from a fantasy purpose, you have to adjust accordingly. But the Jets fix their running back situation, and they want to be a force within that division immediately. This shows that sign of how much they feel they are in that Super Bowl and go for it window. We'll see if it works out. We already know Cook. Take him a little bit to get him up to speed, but it's running the rock. It's in this Hackett system. You know that will be key and a key element to this offense for the New York Jets. The newsy stuff with the running back continues as on Monday, we had Ezekiel Elliott signed by the Patriots. Patriots are dealing with some injuries and some not great performances in the backfield. Of course, it's why they make the move for Zeke. Zeke doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank. They were looking at Pierre Strong, who's a little bit banged up. Ty Montgomery is a little bit banged up. They want more of a receiving change of pace back. Zeke isn't going to give you that. He's more power behind Rhamondre Stevenson. And as we've seen from Stevenson, and I remember the great debates that I've had with Matt Waldman about Stevenson when he came out, when we saw him together at the Senior Bowl years ago. Stevenson has rounded out his game. As Matt pointed out in his rookie scouting portfolio, Stevenson can be, and now has been, a better receiving option than I had expected him to be coming out of college. Thought of him more as just a power guy. He's proven to be more of that. So it says less for the reserve backs because Kevin Harris hasn't been impressive to them, J.J. Taylor, etc. That's why they go out and get Zeke. It's that veteran insurance who can plug it up in the middle in what could likely be one of the most boring offenses in the National Football League. So that gets some of our newsy stuff out of the way. Would you like some tea? Would you like to hear some things? Well, I'm hearing some great things about Justin Fields. It's more than just the perfect thing. Okay, I know it's preseason football. There are some takeaways from preseason. I don't have anything against preseason football. Back in that closet, besides a bunch of comic books, are a bunch of video cassettes of every preseason game from the year 2000 till now. I've got some on disc. I have some on hard drive or thumb drives, but most of it is still on VHS for this 20-year collection of preseason football. But it's what I've heard about Justin Fields behind the scenes and talking to former teammates and talking to current teammates with Justin Fields. He's getting it. And it's something that we've talked about on this show. And I've even said, hey, we got to wait and see if he's going to take that Jalen Hurts like jump, as we saw Hurts with AJ Brown last year really explode onto the scene. And I've provided words of caution. Those words might be done now. I might be saying, yeah, Justin Fields is the number one fantasy quarterback, which I've already been saying that to a certain degree, but we needed to see it as a passer. I'm here to tell you that his teammates, both former and current, are saying that's happening right now behind the scenes in Chicago. He's getting it as a passer. And what he's getting the most is that get the ball to your playmakers. Again, I'll go back to the preseason game. The air yards on those throws was like 6 yards or whatever. I'm being sarcastic, but it was incredibly short for incredibly long gains. But that's what they're doing. They're setting things up. I've talked to defenders that have played against Justin Fields. The guy doesn't give up. He can be down. The game could basically be over, and Fields will not relent. He's done that studying behind the scenes. I've heard nothing but great things. Again, former and current teammates that have told me behind the scenes, Justin Fields is putting in that extra work in the film room, also taking it to the field where it's translating over. Obviously, we saw that in the first preseason game for the Chicago Bears. But I'm here to say, like, if you've got Justin Fields as your number one fantasy quarterback, that's not even an outlandish take. It wasn't before because of his rushing ability. He's a larger and more dangerous Michael Vick. Words that I never thought I would ever utter. Okay. Words that I never thought I would ever say about any quarterback because of the Michael Vick experience as a runner. Well, now you're taking that Vic ability, a larger quarterback, a quarterback who does not relent and who is, according to his teammates, both current and former that I've talked to, is developing as a passer. Great things developing there in Chicago. And also remember, their defense is, I want to be honest, or at least Joe has told me to be a little bit nicer sometimes to certain players. Don't get personal, but the Bears defense is not as good as it needs to be. I'm trying to be nice. Sometimes it's very difficult, but because of that, you have this concoction of a perfect storm for Justin Fields to be the number one fantasy quarterback because the defense needs work, because the offense and it's getting rid of the ball quickly and then running. That's what Justin Fields is going to do. He's got the playmakers to do it. Obviously, he's got the rushing skill to do it there as well. So, love hearing that and talking to his teammates again, both current and former there. More behind the scenes information. This one's a little closer to home. I'm, of course, every day out at Broncos training camp and watching Jerry Jeudy. Watching Jerry Jeudy in his first preseason game. You see the drop followed up by the touchdown, the sick routes. You also see Cortland Sutton, who's a little bit banged up. Coach Payton has not yet revealed what it is, expects him to play on Saturday against the 49ers. Whatever. I'm not worried about Sutton's injury. And because of their media policy, I can't even say where he's injured, but doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay. Could be wrong. Recording this Tuesday morning, so we'll see as the week goes on, but it doesn't seem to be a big deal. However, the Jerry Jeudy inside information that I want to give you is that he's Sean Payton's favorite, and he is the number one read in this offense. And Russell Wilson, when he trusts the system, and well, the offensive line, the tackle situation is bad right now. McGlinchey being banged up, Garrett Bowles not being good and coming back from fractured ankle. Tackles are terrible for Russ. He's not trusting his offensive line. He is seeing ghosts. We saw that in the game. I haven't necessarily seen that in practice, but again, you can't sack a quarterback in practice. But I'm here to tell you because I've gotten questions about Court because Court looks great, right? Because he does. And Cortland Sutton is back and his explosion is back. I told you that back in May when I saw him at mandatory minicamp and OTAs. Jerry Jeudy is the number one target. Jerry Jeudy is the guy that's going to be peppered with passes. Now, the Broncos may be only passing about 20 to 25 times per game. But if I saw Jerry Jeudy with a 100-catch season, I'm not projecting that. But if you were to get to that number, wouldn't be surprised. Projecting more for 75 to 80 catches seems more correct. But as excited as we all are about Cortland Sutton, and we think of who could be the Michael Thomas, who could be the Marcus Colston, it's a conversation in the fantasy community that is robust. Well, in a little bit different way because he doesn't have the body type. Sutton is the body type of those two, larger receiver. The body type, it doesn't matter. It's Jerry Jeudy. He's the number one target, everybody. He's Sean Payton's favorite. He's Russell Wilson's favorite. They're going to force feed him the ball. So again, keep that in mind. You're not drafting in Denver. Judy's getting drafted more in the wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3 range. He could easily bump up to wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 1 numbers, even if he stays healthy. But staying focused is not going to be a problem because they've made it a priority to get him the ball. Again, they're a run-heavy team, and if you've seen our footballguys.com shorts, it's going to be a 50-50 split between Javonte and Samaje, but they're going to run the hell out of the ball. I have a feeling, and this isn't insider information, but this is more projection, I guess, or I'm trying to anticipate where I think this could be going, because y'all love Greg Dulcich. He has better hair than I do. He might be the only one, but Greg Dulcich is the backup, and he's not going to see the field that much because they're going to run the hell out of the ball, unless there's one thing they could do, because this team wanted Tim Patrick to be the big slot, and Tim Patrick unfortunately lost for the season. And this is a big if. I have not heard any rumblings about this. I have not seen this at practice. Okay. So I want to be very clear about that, because y'all love Greg Dulcich, and there was faux outrage on Twitter, which is the realm of the lowest common denominator of like, oh my God, Greg Dulcich is not the number one on the depth chart. He's not their best tight end. Their best tight end is Adam Troutman. He's a damn fine receiver, though. And he is making plays mostly from Ben DiNucci with the third team. But if Sean Payton, because they're not cutting Greg Dulcich, they're cutting Alberto Cuebanam. I don't think Alberto makes the team, unfortunately. However, if Greg Dulcich and Sean Payton decides, I'm going to make him a big slot, forget blocking, I'm going to make him a big slot, Dulcich could see the field a little bit more. But right now, Chris Manhertz, because he's a great blocker, and Adam Troutman, because he's an effort blocker and he's a reliable receiver, those two will be your two tight end formations. And again, Denver's going to run the heck out of the ball. It is a Broncos show, but I want to tell you some stuff going on in Indianapolis. Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor showed up to the building. He still wants to be traded. There are rumors swirling on where that could be, but we've seen some running back movement. Teams have made their decisions. Zeke is off the market, as I mentioned. Dalvin Cook is off the market, as I talked about on this show. Where does Jonathan Taylor end up? What would the asking price be? And why can't Jim Irsay figure this out with his back, the exploitative position? So he is there. Maybe things are patched up and, something's a little bit of an extension or a little bit of extra money. We've seen teams do that before. The Colts are a little tight with their purse strings. Irsay is specifically, so we'll see how that shakes out. But I know people are excited. Hey, Jonathan Taylor's back in the building. He still wants to be traded. And I'm not the only one saying that. So, that's a national report if you need to hear that as well. What I'm hearing down in Arizona with Zach Ertz back is that Trey McBride is still going to be involved in what they do. In fact, it's probably going to be a tight end by committee. Now, if you've subscribed to our Football Guys free daily newsletter, I write the blurbs, Sigmund writes the blurbs, Joe Bryant writes the blurbs. We are a hell of a trio. So sign up for that free daily newsletter, footballguys.com. And in that newsletter, I've put that in there that like, hey, Ertz is back. He's going to be back, but don't expect him to reach the levels that he did last year. Don't expect any sort of like low end tight end one production from Ertz. One, you don't want to be investing in this offense anyway because of the Murray situation, because everything with this team. They likely will be owning the top two picks in the draft next year. Either way, the Zach Ertz thing, everyone's looking for tight end help. It's not going to come from him. McBride, who I'm excited about, my number one tight end last year, isn't going to fully yet get that job. It will be a tight end by committee there. So dynasty-wise, I still have a lot of love for Trey McBride, but they have a lot of things to fix in Arizona. Know that with Ertz back, it's not going to completely be Ertz's show, nor should it be. And McBride, however talented, the problems with the offense, Ertz still being there, it's committee all the way. That's for fantasy, not where you want to be. Heard some great things as we continue with this insider information show on the Audible. Again, Cecil Lammey flying solo, Sigmund Bloom on assignment. I love what I'm hearing about Tank Bigsby. Now, I'm impressed in his preseason debut, and preseason football games, they don't count, but they do matter. But behind the scenes, I was told like this is a situation where Travis Etienne is the number one, but Bigsby is the 1A. They're both ones. That's what I was told by people that trust, and I'm close to that team. I know some Jags fans have not liked me in the past. That's fine, because I always got to like, how's a Denver guy know what's going on in Jacksonville? Well, I'm close to people on that team. They have two number ones. And that's what I was told yesterday. And it made me smile because you see it on film with Tank Bigsby and what he can do in terms of a hard charging effort runner, no nonsense runner who can work well as a receiver as well. And Etienne has that speed, has that dynamic ability, and it takes some of the heavy lifting off his plate. And Trevor Lawrence is the truth. There were people after the Urban Meyer season, half a season, whatever, however many games it was, like there were some kind of writing off Trevor Lawrence. Please don't do that. And Doug Peterson, who I adore, and I know a little bit. I'm not friends with him, but I've talked to him away from the podium, hung out with him a little bit. Like I love Doug Peterson, love everything he's done there with Trevor Lawrence, and Lawrence is the truth. That offense is going to be on point with their passing game, but having these two backs, and I want all fantasy gyms to be thinking about it that way. It's a two back thing in Jacksonville. It's going to be more obvious as the preseason goes on, as we get closer to the regular season, that Bigsby and ETN are 1 and 1A, and they will use them based on game plan, based on game flow. It's not going to be just a sort of like backup. Here comes the rookie, give ETN a breather. No, they are working in tandem together. And it's these type of changing situations, or situations that there's been buzz about Bigsby for a while. It was one of the most consistent drum beats this offseason. But when we look at it and we go, okay, now the drum beats are coming real. Like they can be drum beats and then they kind of fizzle out during camp or preseason. We're seeing that these drum beats, like with the Bigsby, are becoming real. Speaking of real, you should all be real excited by Sky Moore. Now, again, watch our Football Guys shorts on all of our social channels, and I've got some Chiefs information that is very, very good. And the Chiefs information is this: man alive, do they love Sky Moore? And I know everyone's excited about Justin Ross. You should be, with that incredible talent. Rashee Rice, the team likes. He's not there yet, is what I was told. Like, Rashee Rice definitely has shown up with the lunch pail. He's getting to work. They appreciate his efforts on the field, but he's not quite there in this robust passing game. So dynasty-wise, still love Rashee Rice. But redraft-wise, everybody, and I mean everybody, should be loving Sky Moore as much as you possibly can. Pick him up, and play him as a flex play every week. Like, it's there in this offense, and know that Moore has been the most impressive during camp. Ross gets a bunch of talk. That's fine. But the guy who could get a bunch of production for you is Sky Moore. And as a collector, whether it's preseason game or comic books, I'm collecting as many Chiefs weapons as I possibly can. Obviously, Sky Moore is a player that I'm targeting, and Deneric Prince. I'll reveal it for you on this show. There's a short that I've done that I was told there are people in the building that think Deneric Prince is better than Isaiah Pacheco. And I love Pacheco, but I love Prince. So does Matt Waldman, and so do the Chiefs. Now, to wrap up this newsy insider news show here on the Audible, Cecil Lammey going solo today. Jahan Dotson, I don't want to say Tyreek Hill, okay, because that'll cause too many like overreactions. Like Cecil Lammey said, Jahan Dotson is the Tyreek Hill of the Commanders' offense. And listen, I love Terry McLaurin. Like, I love him. I think his Scary Terry nickname's dumb, but like, I love Terry McLaurin. Absolutely love him. But I have so much respect for Jahan Dotson, and I know Eric Bieniemy has plans for that young man to be featured as more than a speed guy. Like, as a rookie, we just got a taste of Jahan Dotson, and we got the taste of him catching a bunch of touchdowns. Now, he's a little guy and he's a fast guy, and Eric Bieniemy knows what to do with smaller receivers who are blindingly fast, like blur on the screen type of fast. That is Jahan Dotson. So again, Sam Howell going to win that job. Howell's a better than some people think prospect. You got to keep pressure away from him. You got to run the ball, and you got to set up these deep shots. Terry McLaurin is there to move the chains. There's nothing wrong with Terry McLaurin. His ADP is right on the money. You're all too low on Jahan Dotson. Right now, as we sit today in the middle of August, you are all too low on Jahan Dotson. Again, he's there, Tyreek Hill. He's not Tyreek Hill in terms of skill, but when they want to do Tyreek Hill-like things, Eric Bieniemy has one guy in mind, and that guy is Jahan Dotson. So pick him up. I should call this the pick him up show. But it's preseason. We got a bunch of stuff going on. I got to run. I'm at Broncos training camp every single day. We've got you covered on the Audible, our Football Guys YouTube channel. Thank you all very much for helping us grow the YouTube channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. But I get a lot of questions from people say, how do I support the show? I love the Audible. How do I support the show? The very best way to do that is to go to footballguys.com and get our annual subscription. It's a great price and we appreciate it. I know there's a lot of information out there. At Football Guys, we give you the best quality information, and we appreciate that subscription from you. You love the show. We don't have any super chats or anything like that. You want to support the show, the best way to do that is please subscribe to footballguys.com. Sigmund appreciates that. I certainly appreciate that. Joe Bryan appreciates it. We all just, we love talking about football, love writing about football, love covering fantasy football for you. And that's why if you want to support the show, please subscribe to footballguys.com. I'm Cecil Lammey. Follow me on all the socials at Cecil Lammey. And I've got so many insider tidbits. I love it. I love covering football, but I also love talking to people behind the scenes about what's going on, whether that's players, whether that's coaches, or whether that's scouts. I've got a lot of stuff to say, a lot more videos coming out on our social channel. So check out the shorts, Instagram, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, because I'm going to be spilling the beans that you need to know before, during, hopefully not after your fantasy draft. So anyway, thanks everyone. As always, be safe, be kind, know that you are appreciated. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty,